You're listening to Bizarre Buffet, a podcast of all-you-can-eat weird. I'm your host, Mark Torriello.
I'm Jen Wilson.
And I'm Mark Bluestein.
There'll be food and drink and ghosts, and perhaps even a few murders. You're all invited.
When we first went in, one of the people said, "Who are you?" And Tex said, "I'm the devil, and I'm here to do the devil's business."
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hey.
It's me, Jilly Juice.
That was our last episode.
Yeah.
And this episode.
And this episode, too. Hi.
Chili juice.
It's Jilly Juice, yes.
As you can see, we're all green. We all drank the Jilly juice.
Yeah, we did. This is what happened.
And this is what happens.
As a result of Jilly Juice.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can see right now.
Yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah.
We're calling Phil.
We're green.
Yeah, we're green. We're calling Phil McGraw.
All right, so for today's episode, at least on YouTube,
Yeah, hi.
we are filming this through the eyes of Matilda Schrerer.
Oh my God, who is Matilda
who's this
Schrerer?
Matilda girl?
Well, we'll find out about Matilda, but first, I'm going to start off with a question.
Okay.
All
We
right.
love a
All right,
question.
we do.
We all know I love fashion.
Yes.
Like, hello.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys, what is the most painful thing that you ever wore in order to look good?
Oh my God.
Wow.
Most painful thing.
I'll say for the record, nothing that I own is comfortable. Getting dressed is suffering. I guess for me, there was one New Year's many, many years ago when I was like 22 or 23, and I made my own shirt for New Year's, and it was made out of a broken disco ball.
Oh, I remember that.
So it was covered in shards of glass. You know, like the little
is very
mirrored
dangerous.
squares. The whole thing was covered, like with hot glue and mirrors. And anyways,
Hot glue,
I was
mirrors.
drunk off of like a lot of PBRs.
Oh yeah,
Because it's just
that was a
what
drink
you
at the
did.
time.
I
yeah.
know. And so it was like the hipster drink.
Yeah, it was.
It was.
$2.
Basically, I had no idea, but it was cutting up my arms all night. So when I got home, I had blood all down my arms, and I was like, "What the hell?" And it was from that.
Well, I can tell you, during a certain time period, pounds ago, put it with years, I don't know, but I used to love these boots. They call them like beetle boots, essentially.
Okay.
And when I tell you, they were really cool. It really completed the look I was going for. But I have never gotten like blisters and like hurt so bad that from anything else than like these boots. They were a nightmare.
I had a pair of Anne Klein flats. I always forget that flats are fucking painful.
They seem painful.
They're really painful, but I always in my head are like, okay, it's low, there's no heel, it's not going to be painful. Well, my first day at one of my new jobs, I wore the fucking Anne Klein flats.
Oh no.
By like lunchtime, I could not walk.
What was it about them that was painful?
It just was like the way it was rubbing against my skin. My feet could not even bear to be inside of them.
Oh god. That's kind of how those boots were for me. Very similar. Yeah.
I never
get
like
it.
physically wore anything that like hurt. It was always like my feet.
That's probably the most painful thing is footwear that
Yeah.
I've experienced.
I remember I used to wear like skinny jeans, but
Oh,
really
well.
skinny jeans,
Yeah.
and it would press all my fat up.
Oh yeah.
And I had a permanent muffin top
Permanent muffin top.
that had to be removed via cool sculpting.
Oh yeah, my name's Permanent
Still
Muffin
there.
Top.
And my name is Cool Sculptor.
Yeah.
What if I told you guys that there was one very specific fashion trend that was killing people?
Was
And
it
they-
wearing green?
Yes, it was wearing green.
Oh, Jen cracking the case. Jen.
Hence my green
Yeah.
monochromatic look. We're gonna go back in time to 1861 for this trend.
What a good year.
That was a horny year. I
horny year.
remember it so well.
It was great. It was. We loved the color green.
We did.
Yeah.
It was all the rage. We're gonna talk about the death of Matilda Schrerer
Yes, who you
and
mentioned.
how it's connected to
Oh.
everything.
Oh shit.
All right.
Oh boy.
I'm
So,
excited.
I'm excited
Me
for
too.
this.
Me
Oh
too.
my god.
Oh my god.
Talk about being committed to a color.
I know. Green's my favorite color too.
I know.
We
I
all
love
know that.
green too.
Oh my god.
It's a good color.
In November of 1861, Matilda Schrerer was a 19-year-old girl who was an artificial flower maker. She died in a very unusual and horrific way. Before her death, she fell ill several times in the span of 18 months, with the same reoccurring symptoms. Toward the end of her illness, she vomited green water and her eyes and fingernails turned green.
Oh.
The days leading up to her death, she told her doctor that everything looked like it had a green tint to it.
Oh, God.
Almost as if she was looking at the world through a green filter.
Oh,
Wow.
my God.
Yeah. So I wanted to honor her death by doing an all green episode.
Oh, I love it.
Well,
That's
why?
so good.
Thank you. It's very William Castle.
Very. That's
So
good reference.
while dying in bed, she had convulsions while foaming at the mouth, nose, and even eyeballs.
This sounds like something out of like The Exorcist.
Yeah, it
Sure as
does.
fuck does.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, upon investigating this mysterious illness, it was learned that she died from arsenic poisoning, which she was exposed to daily at her job. So let's talk about Matilda's career in artificial flower
Flower
making.
making.
How did she find this very interesting path?
Yeah.
How
and
does one make an artificial flower?
Yeah.
girl, I have no idea. I would imagine it's like a lot of synthetic materials, a lot of communications with like Michaels.
A lot of polyester. Not 1860 pipe
And
Michaels.
a lot of patience.
Yeah.
At the time, she helped make artificial leaves that were used for floral decorations and fancy hats, like Titanic hats. To make these green leaves more vibrant, they would use an eye-catching pigment which contained arsenic.
Damn.
Shit. Matilda.
Matilda, I'm sorry.
So, unfortunately for Matilda, day in and day out, she actually inhaled this powder.
Oh, damn.
And this powder would get all over her hands. She would use her hands
Fuck
to.
Matilda.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And as it would get on her hands, she would eat meals.
Oh God.
So the food was getting contaminated with the arsenic that was on her hands.
Oh my God.
Clearly, no one at this factory place really knew what was going on or the severity of the materials that they were working with.
Did anybody else like there get sick and die?
Yep.
Oh boy.
Oh boy. Yep.
This is like the Radium Girls.
It is like the Radium Girls.
Oh wow.
So there were other employees. Her death did capture the attention of the Ladies Sanitary Association.
Oh.
The LSA.
Interesting. LSA.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
very random, very specific,
Hey,
but
LSA.
Hey guys.
I think at the time sanitation was a big deal because of disease and everything.
Yeah.
So I know we're kind of joking about it, but it was probably super important. At
Oh
the time,
yeah, I'm
so.
sure it was.
Thanks, ladies. These ladies started their own investigation, and they found that many of Matilda's co-workers from the workshop were sick as well.
Oh,
They
boy.
looked starved. Their hands were all bandaged. Some of the flower makers wore blood-soaked handkerchiefs, and they all had facial sores.
depressing.
I know, and some of them were even experiencing vision loss.
Shit.
Oh my God.
As they go deeper into this investigation, they did little chemical research. Now, I'm not a chemist. I'm not going to bore us with chemistry details.
Yeah.
But I am just going to skim the surface.
I know nothing about chemistry.
So this organization took a look at one of the floral headpieces that was made in this factory for chemical research. It was discovered that the greens not only contained the arsenic, but that the young ladies working in this factory were completely ignorant to the fact that arsenic is highly toxic or even used in the dyes.
Oh boy.
So from their perspective, they just thought, oh, this factory's dusty or there's a cold going around. They didn't know it was arsenic related. Now, Dr. A.W. Hoffman shared his results about arsenic being found in these materials, in these pieces. Dr. A.W. Hoffman shared his results in an article that went public called The Dance of Death, where it was said that one headdress, so one of these like hats with the fake flowers on it,
The Easter bonnet.
one of the Easter hats. Well,
An Easter bonnet.
I love it.
one hat had enough arsenic to kill 20 people.
Shut up. Oh my God, that's a lot of arsenic.
Yeah. Around this time, you could purchase arsenic over the counter, though there were regulations about how much arsenic one could purchase.
And what would one purchase this arsenic for?
What would you purchase it for?
I guess like killing rats?
Oh yeah.
Because I guess rats was a thing too. back
Rats.
then.
Yeah.
Rats.
You might be wondering, okay, so how does this tie in with green? The color
Yeah.
green and this whole green trend.
Is arsenic green? I don't think so.
I don't think it has a color but they used arsenic in like a dye for green. During this time, green was all the rage in fashion and housewares.
And housewares. Wow.
The color was considered in vogue and associated with the elite.
Wow. Vogue. Arsenic. Yeah.
Why was green all the rage?
Why?
Green, believe it or not, is the most natural and common color in nature. However, it is one of the most difficult colors to artificially manufacture.
Really?
Interesting.
The reason is because the pigments at that specific time, like the green pigments, did not take well to colorization processes. A lot of times things that were dyed green turned out incredibly dull, or it was just not durable.
Okay.
So it would rub off quickly.
Gotcha.
So to achieve a truly vibrant green, you would have to dye the materials over and over and over again,
That
making
sounds like
it
a nightmare.
Costly.
costly,
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
you know,
I'd be
everything.
bored really quick.
Oh, yeah. Just dunking this green over and over.
Well, I'd also get really over making an artificial flower really quickly too.
Yeah. Same.
So someone came up with this invention to kind of remedy this shitty green dye that was happening. It's called Shelley's green or Sheely's.
Okay.
Schelles. So I think it's Sheely's. So it wasn't until Sheely's green, also called School's green, it was invented in 1814 by a company in Germany called the Wilhelm Dye and White Lead Company. They developed this new green dye. And then once this dye was invented,
Everybody died.
then this toxic,
Everybody died.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
So this toxic trend evolved.
Oh, God. So everybody was like, this new green is all the rage.
Yeah.
It's like this is kind of like a callback to the toxic lady.
Yes.
Yeah.
Gloria
Fucking
Ramirez.
Gloria Ramirez. R.I.P.
So what made this specific process different from all the other green dyes out there? This one specifically had copper sulfate and arsenious oxide.
And let me guess, when those two things mix,
It creates hell.
Okay.
But it also makes the green more vibrant.
Wow. Well,
and
I'll
beautiful.
take 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it also did make the green more durable, so it didn't fade, it didn't rub off.
Just melt
It
your
just
skin
yeah,
off.
it just had arsenic
Yeah,
in
and
it.
just a little bit of arsenic.
Yeah.
To describe the color, the shade was like an emerald green.
Oh, that is a beautiful color.
It is very. I like that color a lot.
That is, yeah, stunning.
This is really interesting. Part of the reason why this color caught on in fashion is connected to the development of gaslighting.
Oh.
You would go to a party, but before gaslighting, it was candle lighting. So it was dim, you couldn't see things that well. With gaslighting, it's more luminous, so people were like, oh, now I can dress more ostentatiously and be noticed.
See what you're
They
wearing.
can see your green dress, girl.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Right? I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
This Shelley's green was also used in wallpaper, paints,
Oh.
candle wax,
Oh, boy.
children's toys,
Oh, great.
Oh.
Wow.
and,
Okay.
And what wasn't in use then?
and fabric dyes.
Oh.
All right. And jelly juice.
And jelly
juice.
juice. Jelly would have used it.
So let's talk about some of the garments.
Yeah.
In many cases, when these specific garments that were dyed but not color sealed would be worn, it would create rashes, illness, vomiting,
wow.
death, hair loss,
Oh.
etc.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Bone
I
brittling.
don't want to wear green ever again now.
I'm a little scared.
Green is still kind of a risky color.
Really?
It's still considered like a high risk color to
make?
work with. Yeah. Till this day.
Wow. Okay, I'm throwing out all my green when I get home.
No, don't do that.
Don't do
It's
it.
a
Green's
lovely
great.
color.
Just
Talk about going green.
yeah, just make sure nothing you have was made in the 18th century.
Most popular with this green is you would see it in gloves and stockings.
Yes.
Oh, so things that are in real close contact with your
Yes.
skin.
Yeah.
Sick.
There's this one account where this socialite from a quote unquote respectable house.
Oh, of course.
Of course,
Yeah.
she purchased herself some like high end green gloves from I guess like their version of Neiman Marcus.
Yeah.
Yes.
See these green gloves, you
Yeah.
poor person.
Yeah, pauper.
yeah, you
You
poor.
peasant.
You
You-
peasant.
You're so poor.
Yes.
this like rich gal.
Yeah.
She got these gloves.
Look at me.
And
Look at my gloves.
she was like,
gloves, you pug.
she was flaunting her green gloves, you know. The gloves, the dye wasn't color sealed. So she had sweaty palms. The sweat from the palms activated the dye, and then it seeped into her skin for her hands.
But what would happen if she like physically had like contact with someone else? Would it get on them?
Well, that became a problem down the line.
And,
God damn it.
There's a parallel to the behavior of people back then with this arsenic stuff and people of today with COVID.
oh, interesting.
Interesting.
But when she took her gloves off, her hands were covered with blisters. Remember I said earlier that they used this in housewares? Well, that was a big problem. They also used it in food. So people were ingesting arsenic.
Oh my God.
Often what trends in fashion will also make its way into interior design trends. Homes all over Britain at this time were painted and wallpapered green. This resulted in multiple baby deaths, which were caused.
Wow.
That's insane.
That
Because
is insane.
because these little like demonic babies, I guess they would like
Licking the
crawl.
wallpaper.
Well, they would crawl on green carpeting. They would also rub up against the walls, and the dyes from the paint or the wallpaper would get onto the children.
It's very excessive.
Yeah.
It wasn't until Queen Victoria redecorated Buckingham Palace did people start to take the warnings seriously about green colored products. So she had a foreign dignitary stay at the palace during the time when it was like covered in green wallpaper. The following day, he said he felt ill because of the wallpaper. So he was like, there's green wallpaper. I feel sick. It's because of the green wallpaper because it has arsenic in it.
Oh, wow.
Holy
So
shit.
she immediately was like,
Oh,
we can't have that here.
no.
Oh, my pearls.
oh, my pearls are green.
My
So-
stockings.
Her
My
pearls threw up.
stockings, my
And-
gloves.
Don't look at my ankles.
So she immediately removed all the green stuff out of there.
Yeah.
And then the
absolutely.
citizens were like, oh, the queen's doing it. We
Oh.
must get rid of it too. This stuff was so freaking toxic that in the 1930s, they used the same dye, the Chili's green, for insecticide in 1930. So
You can kind of relate it, like you said, to COVID. Who was the one that told everyone to take that, like, horse worm medication for
Oh,
COVID?
yeah.
Is that Trump?
Probably.
Yeah, and then the.
didn't he say to drink bleach too or something?
Yeah.
Dumbass.
I know.
It's a shame they didn't.
I know.
Despite all of the evidence with the toxicity of these materials, it should be noted that Shaylee's green was also used for food dye in sweets.
Oh boy, I'd be fucked.
There
Oh my god, this sounds like it's like everything. It's like, but wait, there's more.
Wait, there's more green.
If you get this arsenic,
Ah. Good luck.
good luck. Yeah. There was an instance where a baker had made these like green leaf candies. While making these candies, he was
died.
using the green dyes containing arsenic, which was ingested by a bunch of party goers,
Oh god.
making them sick and causing a few fatalities.
That sounds awful.
Wow.
Yep.
Guess you would be lucky to get the broken cookie at that party.
Yeah.
Nah.
I love those. You know those leaf cookies that they have at
They
supermarkets?
They're really good.
Oh, they're
I
lit.
like always in like the supermarket bakery section, and they have them in pink too.
Yeah.
Oh, should we go and cause a scene and be like, is this Shirley's green?
We should. But I want to make sure I'm wearing a hoop skirt.
That's what I was gonna say.
I'm gonna wear green
we have to go in
pantyhose.
period costume to the supermarket.
Oh, yes.
It's this
We have
Shirley's
to dress.
green.
We have to dress the part. And
I'm
talk the
saying,
part.
could you imagine?
Oh, you peasants just wearing brown.
Oh, poor people here. Don't look at me. I'm green.
My green is illuminated by fluorescent lighting.
Yeah.
While we're talking about public, let's talk about the public response to this.
Yeah, they were like,
okay?
we need more green.
more green.
Yeah.
So during this time, the mainstream society didn't really know about arsenic being used in the chemical processes for manufacturing items or its ill effects. People were aware of what arsenic was and that it was moderated, but they just lacked awareness that it was not moderated on an industrial / manufacturing level. So it was being
Interesting.
regulated amongst people, but not corporations.
Gotcha. So
Kind
they
of
were
like the world now.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Monsanto.
When word got out to the public that, like, okay, these green dresses and green materials have arsenic, it was said that women wearing green were being labeled as femme fatales.
I love it.
It was even stated that Napoleon, who once lived in a home where the rooms were painted bright green, most likely died because of the arsenic exposure. And upon his death, they found high levels of arsenic in his hair.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
But with all this awareness, it still didn't prevent people from using products with this color.
I need green. I must have green.
The attitude became, I'll be safe as long as I don't lick my green wallpaper.
Oh, boy.
Or,
Oh.
no, this fabric is high end. My wallpaper is high end. So
Yeah.
therefore,
This can't hurt me.
it's so well made that the arsenic won't leave because it was expensive.
Oh, boy.
People also argued that doctors were lying because they didn't believe in science.
Wow.
Yes, just like COVID.
Yeah.
People responded the same exact way. So
Absolutely.
history repeats itself.
Sure does.
And yes, there were people that were cautious, and some simply just were like, I'm not using things that are green because
Right.
it has arsenic in it.
And then other people were like, no, it's
Yeah.
a beautiful color. I need it.
Yeah.
I want it. I want more.
Give me a green.
Give me a green.
And then some people were just like, you know what? We need this one item. We're going to be very cautious around it.
Yes, I need to paint the shutters on my house this green. I'm going to risk it because it's necessary.
Because it's necessary. You know, earlier you said, well, what happens if you're wearing these gloves and you touch someone with these like arsenic gloves? There is something called dust spreading,
Is that like air,
like
like
particles.
airborne?
Airborne particles were
So-
coming off of these
So
materials.
it's like you wanna do the 18th century version of floss, and you're like, look at my gloves, look at my gloves,
well, yeah.
look at these gloves.
when you clap,
yeah,
they're
yeah,
like-
just like, yeah. And then
You know,
anytime you
and
just
it
killed,
comes out.
you just killed Beatrice.
But it was very common for these items and fabrics to dust and material and dematerialize over time, which
Yeah.
release these toxins. The women wearing these green dresses on their bodies would feel ill, but not really be able to pinpoint anything specific
Wow.
to their symptoms.
I'm just being slowly poisoned to death, but I don't know
That's
what it
okay.
It's okay. Look at this green.
Look at my green stockings
like turning
and
green
my
in the face.
Easter bonnet.
And also, too, they did wear these elaborate headpieces
Yeah,
containing arsenic and toxins.
just the floss.
Oh, darling, come, let me smell your hat.
No, it's not
Well,
good.
it would dust. Like the particles would come off of the hats and
Oh,
into
it
their
smells
faces,
like a fresh bouquet of arsenic.
and it would go in their eyeballs.
Oh, God.
In many instances, party goers would accidentally be poisoned by their friends because the dye was so loosely applied on fucking everything.
Oh my God.
So if you're dancing in your Victorian hoop skirt,
Yeah, whatever
Oh,
that.
let's do the Victorian hoop skirt dance.
all the fucking arsenic powder and stuff is flying off the skirts.
Doing your Victorian
Make
hoops.
sure that you don't show your ankles, dear.
Yeah.
You don't want to be seen as a
So you
the
don't have to be
harlot.
seen in your pantaloons.
Talking about ankles and pantaloons.
Oh, God.
You know, the women's skirts were like really long.
Pantaloons,
They were
yeah.
okay.
You know, women had to wear long
Yeah,
skirts back then.
of course, you don't wanna be a whore.
Aside from this whole
Then the
arsenic,
flapper movement came, and you have
Yeah.
to show those woo
Yeah.
ankles.
Yeah,
Show some
ooh,
shins.
tiny bit.
but like because the skirts were so long, aside from arsenic nonsense, there was a problem with sanitization or sanitization.
Sanitization. Sanitization.
So there was a big problem with sanitization. So these dresses were known for dragging all over the sidewalks in public areas.
yeah.
Gross.
And then they would be walking into their homes and then bringing in all of these germs and
my
filth
God.
from their fucking dresses,
And
dragging all over
Yeah,
the place.
yeah, absolutely. Their garter, their They're whatever you pantyhose.
They're green pantyhose.
The blousey ones.
And seamstresses and factory workers, they would also have this dust debris kicked into their face just from cutting and ripping fabric.
I'm sure.
So it would kill them.
Yeah. And what made things difficult was, truly pinpointing the symptoms to poisoning. For some people, they would wear something that had arsenic in it, but they might not have symptoms until the following day.
Yeah.
So they wouldn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah, it really does.
It should also be noted that it was discovered that arsenic was not just in green dyes, but fucking everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything
God.
had arsenic, creating even more chaos and confusion. It was in red dyes. It was in black dyes. It was in
Like,
white dyes.
Do we know how many people have died from this craze?
I have no idea, but I could imagine a lot. It was probably like a plague.
Oh my God.
They're like, blame it on the rats.
Blame it
It's
on
the
the
dye.
skirts.
Yeah, the
And-
rats were like, we didn't do nothing.
And like all of these dyes, they were used for like leather, pantyhose, makeup, plateware. So you're putting food on things that contain arsenic. So the 1800s was quite literally an arsenic party.
Yeah.
But that there are still things like this, right? So there was just like a quick moment here. There was a series on HBO about like daily products that people use current day. And it talks about eye makeup and hair products and how I believe in like I guess lower grade cosmetics and even some higher grade, but predominantly in lower grade cosmetics. There's like fiberglass and stuff.
I'm not
and
surprised.
We
shit.
watched that together.
Yeah.
I remember that.
So we still have current day, but they're like a little fiberglass is fine.
Didn't they find it in like little kid makeup?
Yep. For like Claire's.
Yeah, yeah.
Shout out to Claire's. Icing.
Well,
Icing.
Icing.
I remember it as as icing, not Claire's.
I
Not
know.
Claire's.
That
It
was
always icing.
That's right.
I was a Claire's girl.
I know.
I used to get all my O-rings from there.
Oh my
I
goodness.
was always the icing girl.
Oh, I love it. Icing was the the pre-Claire
Yeah.
predecessor.
Well, it wasn't until 1895 that regulations started to be put into place to regulate the conditions of factories where workers were exposed to the arsenic. Fun little fact about arsenic: before it was used in dye, they actually created a law stating that women were not allowed to purchase arsenic because many husbands were being poisoned by their spouses
Yep.
with arsenic. And it was mentioned that 1 out of every 3 men that was murdered by being poisoned from their wives.
Cool.
Awesome.
And they would put arsenic in their drinks because you can't taste it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, sneaky.
I love it.
By the 1870s, this arsenic awareness movement caught on.
I love
Just like
it.
the anti-jelly juice people.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm pro
Mark,
arsenic.
I think we're back on the same
We're
cycle.
back on the same menstrual
Yeah,
cycle.
absolutely. We knew it was going to happen sooner or
Oh,
later.
yeah.
It can't go for too long.
And, from the 1870s on, they just put more laws into effect, creating more accountability for bigger companies and manufacturers. Arsenic dyes are now being replaced by synthetic dyes. Now, that's a thing in the past. So to kind of close this episode with what's going on today,
Yeah, how's green doing?
green, as we know, is my favorite color.
Yeah.
Even more now because I know
So dark.
That it
the
killed a million
darkness.
people.
Yeah. I love that green is darker than black.
It is. Green is the new black.
Yeah.
You know what's cool
truly.
is that I didn't know the very specific shade of green that happens to be my favorite is called arsenic green.
Oh, I love it. Dark reference.
And it's also said that green dye has a bad reputation among seamstresses and fashion designers in the industry. They think it's cursed.
Oh. All right.
I mean, allegedly, like these women that worked with like fabrics for Chanel, they still believe that green is linked to bad luck.
Oh, yeah.
Even though, Coco Chanel was like a Nazi sympathizer.
Yeah, I was going to say, the green is bad, but Coco,
And
she's all right.
And Karl Lagerfeld, who like died, was like a sizest little prick.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he was.
You know, and sadly, there are dozens of stories about lack of safety regulations, you know, in factories, as seen in the Shirtwaist Fire, the Radium Girls, which
Yeah.
took place in New Jersey.
Not far from where we're located now.
No.
Yeah, where we're recording from.
Yeah, New Jersey is like a hub
Yeah.
of radium.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know,
Probably one of the most toxic states too.
Yeah, probably.
it's probably the most toxic place on the planet.
Yeah, radium and otherwise.
And what's interesting is that as science advances us into other things like deep sea and space exploration, Lord knows what other chemicals are going to be discovered and used and then recalled in the future for negative effects.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Which is even darker.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out to Claire's once again.
And that concludes the green arsenic trend.
Wow.
I loved it.
That was great.
Thank you.
Wow, that was really good. I loved it.
You know, Fashion Week is coming up, so
Yeah, Fashion Week is coming.
green is all the rage.
Yeah, green. Green. I can only imagine what St. Patrick's Day in the 18th century was like. Wow.
They
Must-
just drank the arsenic on its
Yeah,
own.
exactly. Can
Yeah.
you
Beer.
imagine? I would like to see a record of how many people died during St. Patrick's Day during that time.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Do the research. I guess if you want to get arsenic poisoning with us, you can go on Instagram and Facebook. If you want to watch us give ourselves arsenic poisoning, Patreon. Patreon.com/Bizarre Buffet, where we will use different shades of green and we'll wear it and we'll see what happens.
And yeah, we'll let you know.
Yeah, and it'll be, live, televised.
Of course, and you can watch us on YouTube.
Absolutely.
Bizarre Buffet,
yeah,
YouTube.
Bizarre Buffet.
And you could see this elaborate green filter setup.
Yes.
Absolutely. And I guess with that being said, I'm the green arsenic gloves.
And I'm a hoop skirt, even though I know I was one in another episode, but I am the hoop skirt again.
Makes sense.
And I'm Gumby.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Fucking great.
I'm Gumby, damn it.